second podcast. My guest is Natalie Wilkinson.
Yep.
Natalie, what is up?
Not much. I'm almost done with Christmas break. Not super happy about it, but I'm also ready to go back, so it's a weird...
Because you're going to be... Is this your last semester?
Yeah.
Yeah?
So it's sort of like I'm ready to be back, ready to see my friends. I'm actually like really excited about my classes this semester, so like I'm excited to get back, but I'm also like, I don't know, I'm not much closer to the end when I start.
Right. It's kind of scary once you see the finish line going like, hey,
Yeah.
like what's next?
Yeah, and I'm hoping that some of those unanswered questions will be answered once I start job hunting, like where I can go after I'm done. So I'm hoping that like some of the stress goes away and like I'm a little bit less anxious to finish because I'll know kind of what's in store for me.
Right.
So
This is what we talked about last time. You said that you didn't really know when you should start job hunting. Like that's kind of hard to figure out because you gotta complete classes. You got one more semester left, which I feel like is probably the hardest one, just because of how close you are.
Yeah, and it's going to be different because I only have one class. I need to graduate with my major, and so I'm taking that one class, obviously. But like all my kinesiology classes are done. And so it's like one kinesiology class that I need to graduate and 3 psych classes. So my semester's going to be totally different, and it'll be good. But it's sort of like I have to retrain my brain to think psychology, not kines, and like my professors won't be the same ones that I've had for the last couple semesters.
Now, bring me back. What is your major again?
Kinesiology.
Okay, so what do you plan on doing with kinesiology? Because I think what I originally wanted to ask you about was some diet and nutrition questions.
Okay.
Would that relate?
Yeah, kind of.
To
I mean,
kinesiology?
I don't have a nutrition certification, so I should probably preface with that.
Okay.
Like, I know roughly, like, I know what the macronutrients do in your body. I know that there are different diets out there, and I know a little bit about them. I haven't, like, tried all of them, obviously, so I can't really speak to what they do for you. But mostly what I know about is, like, at least my major is more geared towards, like, the body and how it works, and then kind of tying how the body systems work into how those work when you do exercise.
Okay.
And so then different adaptations that your body makes in order to adjust to the new stresses like weight training, cardio, and then more specifically, like if you're training an athlete or an individual, how do you train them for their goals? So if this person that comes into you says, I want to run a marathon, you're not going to have them, figure out what their 1 rep max is on back squat, because that's training a completely different system.
Right.
So you have to think about like all of the body systems and how those all work and when you would use those. And so then you have to write a training program that would best train that person's body for their goals.
Okay, so here, I saw you a few nights ago training your mom in the gym. So what were you putting her through?
So
were you just like doing a test run on her? Because I was like, oh, that's cool. You got like mother-daughter time in the gym. I was like, Natalie's gonna give it to her.
So with that, my mom's birthday was on the 1st of January. And for Christmas, my sister and I splurged and got her, we split the cost of a pair of Lululemon leggings because my mom really, really wanted them. And my sister found a really good deal on Poshmark. She got them. It wasn't like the greatest deal, but they were the best quality. Like they were, very minimally used and they looked really good. And so we were like, okay, we're going to split the cost of this. My sister got them and I Venmo'd her the money for it. But my dad usually acquires gifts for my mom, like as the year goes on. And so I was just planning on, that'll be Christmas. And then since her birthday's so close to Christmas, I was just going to mooch off my dad's stash of presents that he had acquired for her birthday. And so I walk into my dad's room the day that we're supposed to like celebrate my mom's birthday, like a little bit more than we did in California. In California, we did like a couple small presents, but like we didn't want to fly out there with a lot.
Right.
So I walk into my dad's room and I'm like, so I was kind of planning on mooching off your stash. And he goes, I have 2 items. I was like, that's a problem.
Shit.
That's a problem. And I was like, well, okay, I could go to Des Moines and like, go look. But I'm like, the woman has everything. And she has her little things that she likes. Like she likes jewelry, she likes scarves, she likes tea. She was given one thing, or at least one, in every single one of those categories for Christmas or birthday. like already. So I was like, what do I do? Like, the woman does not need more of this. And I was like, and I feel like I can't online shop, because if you online shop, you can't window shop. Like, you have to like go in with a purpose, like, or at least a general idea. I was like, I don't even know what to get the woman. My dad goes, you know, it sounds kind of cheesy, but you could give her personal training sessions for her birthday. You're certified, you could do it. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And he goes, in all honesty, nothing against her, but I don't think she knows what she's doing. Because my mom's a cardio bunny, okay? My mom knows cardio. And my mom has grown to love the fact that she can watch HGTV while running or doing the elliptical. And so she loves that. That's her comfort zone. And I've told her, I'm like, you know, you could try strength training. Like, she was a swimmer and a diver. Like, she knows how to do dry land. She knows some basic weightlifting movements, you know, bicep curls. She knows like overhead shoulder press. She knows push-ups, you know, she knows squats, lunges, all that kind of stuff. But she doesn't actually do it because the TV isn't there. Like, she got so attached to having the TV right there when she's working out.
Yeah.
And so my dad was like, you know, maybe just go in there and teach her some new stuff. And I was like, okay. So I wrote her, so I gave it to her, and she was like, oh, cool. And then that night she was like, we're both free. Let's do personal training. I was like, okay, sounds good. So at work that day, I wrote her a workout, and we ended up not doing the whole thing because I can write a workout that would last all day. Like, I can just keep going and going and going.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? The woman has never used TRX before. And it's kind of a different way to weight train. Like, you have control over how easy and hard you want the movements to be. And you can literally train your entire body with, you know, some basic exercises. And I'm like, hey, this will be fun. This will be a good shock to her system. So yeah, we personal trained as one of her sessions for her birthday.
I enjoyed it. I was going back and forth between my workout, and I was like, you know, that's really cool. Like, to have mother and daughter like getting after it. And also, I mean, this is what you chose to do. Is that kind of the thing? Is like you're going to become a personal trainer? Like, it's somewhat your passion, and then like you're putting your mom through it who's never done it before.
Yeah, I mean, personal training is I like it. I don't know, I kind of want the corporate wellness side of things, because corporate wellness it's a more normal schedule than personal training. Like, if you personal train at a gym, you have to cater to your clients' hours, and your clients' hours are going to be early mornings and at night. So the middle of the day is like your kind of free time, if you really have free time. And I'm like, energy-wise, I am best midday.
Really?
Like, late nights, oh my God, I can't do it. And I don't like early mornings either. So I'm like, I can do early mornings, but I don't love them, mainly because I'm not in a routine of them right now. But so I was like, you know, if I do corporate, I can have a social life, because I'll work, you know, 9 to 5 when they're there. And, you know, the lunch hour is when I will personal train or teach fitness classes. And so like my energy levels will be highest at that point in time. People will be, you know, ready to get their workout on. And when I was at DMU over the summer, I attended a lot of those classes and like co-taught some of those classes, and it breaks up your day. Like, if you work out midday, it's like, oh sweet, I'm like halfway done with my work day, get my workout in, and then I'm like more focused and, you know, feeling good for the rest of the day.
I've actually, like, because I've been super interested in trying to get like better sleep lately, because that's been my issue. And I read that like people that do workouts earlier in their day tend to get a better sleep. It's something about that stimulation. I don't understand that though, because wouldn't it be fine either like any time of the day that you worked out? But it's almost like if you work out close to your bedtime, it's almost like your body's too ramped up to finally like shut down. But if you get a good workout in, you should be completely exhausted, you know, and you're like, all right, like I'm like time to pull the covers over and go to bed.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up swimming competitively, and so when we'd have practice, I mean, we'd get done with practice, we'd practice like 6 to 8, go home, eat dinner, and go to bed. And I never had trouble falling asleep because my swim practices were hard. But I think it depends on the person. Some people really do well with late night workouts, but I think I do see the validity in the statement that, you know, all of your hormones that are there for fight or flight, you know, there to work out, get you pumped up, those are not going to go down right after that workout. Like, yes, you're going to feel depleted, but I feel like even then you're still going to be kind of restless when you go to bed. So I don't know. I think I'm a big believer in you should work out when, like, you have to like figure out like when your best energy levels are, and then try and, if if you have the luxury, adjust your schedule to that. So like I'm lucky right now, I can, for the most part, I can work out midday. And honestly, that's when the gym's the most dead, which is my favorite. So like, I'm not there with everyone and their mother that just got off work.
Right.
But
this is the problem. Well,
Yes.
for me anyways, is that at night, I know my best friends are there. Like Jacob's there, like all the people that I like to connect with. And I think, that sense of community, that's what makes it feel lively, that I don't really like coming at the middle of the day. But at the same time, I'm like, you know what? If there's anything that could help me get better sleep, then maybe I should work out earlier in the day. But here's my question.
Yes.
How did you understand or figure out that your peak level was like midday? Is it a feeling that you have? Because like, how do people understand like, hey, this is my best operating time where I should be getting physical activity in?
I figured it out through trial and error over a couple years when I felt like I was really crushing my workouts, and then I sort of analyzed like, okay, my very best workouts, what time of day are those done? And for a really long time, my schedule, at least in the summertime, was I would guard 8:15 to 11:15, and then I would work either guard or coach swim team at that night. And so midday, I was already at the gym because I just got done guarding, and so I would work out then and then eat lunch as like my post-workout meal. And I found that most days my workouts were way more productive at that point in time. And so sort of through trial and error, I figured out that I can't wait till late at night, because late at night I will procrastinate my workout. Like I just won't do it. I won't show up.
Yeah.
So like I can do late night workouts. Like I can do like, and when I say late night, I mean like 6 p.m.
Yeah,
like dinner time
that's
workouts.
fine. It's not like too close to bed.
No, I can do those workouts, but I can only do those workouts if I have somebody there training with me. If I have no sense of accountability, I will skip. I won't show up. So I figured out early mornings, I just have to make myself do it. And usually right now I'm doing some 6 a.m. workouts because my training partner is like super busy throughout the day. And so we have to work out at 6 a.m. Like that's kind of the only opportunity that we can work out for both of our schedules. So I've gotten around to doing, 6 a.m. workouts. But I also find that for the style of training I do, midday is best because by then I've eaten breakfast and had coffee, and all of that has gone through my system. So I've like all of the carbs that I ate in my oatmeal that morning, they've kicked in. I feel like I'm fueled. Whereas sometimes with my 6 a.m. workouts, sometimes I feel like because I don't do coffee beforehand, I do my coffee after my workout. I find that sometimes maybe it's just mentally, I can't push myself as hard because I don't feel like mentally I know you haven't eaten anything. Sometimes I eat like some dried apricots or a banana or something beforehand, like if I really wake up hungry. But usually I just don't feel like I can just like go crazy.
You talk about this trial and error is there like a method to like writing notes? Because that's something that I've started doing in my workouts is like, not necessarily, I think I need to start experimenting with different times to see how I feel, but like in my workout, if it's a certain set or like a certain exercise that I'm doing, if I really feel it, like if I feel like there's tweaks in there, like something was off, I'll write that down once I'm done with it. Is that kind of how you figured it out? Or you just realize like, hey, I'm kicking ass in the middle of the day and not so much at night?
I think it was more just analyzing overall. Midday is when I've had most of my time to do my workout. So most days I was working out midday, and most workouts were really, really good. And then a couple times I would guard, say I'd pick up an additional shift. And so I wouldn't be able to work out until 4 p.m. or 6 p.m. And I would find that those workouts would only be good if I was with somebody. And sometimes I'd surprise myself. But I think mentally it's really hard for me to motivate myself to get to the gym.
Yeah.
So a lot of times once I get to the gym, things just fall into place.
Right.
And I mean, everyone has their off days. I'm not saying every workout I had at 11 a.m. was perfect, and definitely wasn't. But I found that generally that's when, because I was already at the gym, I didn't have an excuse, and it was just out of the way. And I like to have my evenings free, especially in the summertime, because I feel like a lot more people do things in the summer at night. And so I'll be like, yeah, I'm free at night to do whatever. And sometimes I would end up coming back to the gym and doing another workout
Mm-hmm.
because one of my friends would be free. So like, I think it was just kind of over the years, because I've been doing this since I was a sophomore in high school. So like going on 6 years.
I think it's just good. Like it just makes me kind of want to experiment with different times and see how I feel, because for the longest time it's been at night, you know.
Mhm.
Like even before I left for Ames, I was probably doing it after I'd get done at work, and you know, so that's like 8 p.m., 9 p.m. at night when the Y was still open until 10, and so you're going for 2 hours. And I think back then I'd go to bed at like midnight. So I don't know, maybe if you have a few hours of a break since you worked out, I could still get sleep. But it just kind of makes me want to see what I could get out of that, like see if anything would change.
And I realize like a lot of people don't have the luxury, like your work schedule set. So like right now, if you're in between jobs, you know, it's easier to experiment.
Try it,
And I would say, you know, it is worth trying. But I totally get that like the average person off the street, their time to work out is 5 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm thinking, you know, I think if there are people that work, you know, a 9 to 5 job or an 8 to 5 job or an 8 to 4 job or whatever, I think that it's important to sort of recognize through trial and error when it works best for you. So I know my dad takes his lunch break every day for the most part, and he goes and works out on his lunch break, and then he just eats lunch at like 2 o'clock. So there is a way to do it midday, even if you do work a 9 to 5 job, for the most part. I mean, granted, it depends on your job. But I think if late nights don't motivate you, early mornings are another good option, because then it's done, and then at night you can sort of relax. Like you have those extra hours, like to just kind of chill out, read a book, like just kind of decompress after your long day.
Right.
And then if you do get up earlier and you can get yourself into that routine, then I think it's easier to get yourself to go to bed earlier, because you're like, well, I need to get up early, so I'm going to go to bed earlier. And you've had all of those hours to decompress after work that, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with working out late, but I think you also just have to like give yourself a couple hours to wind down before bed after your workout.
Well, I think there's something to that. Like, are you interested at like in the history of our human race at all? Because I'm thinking of like hunter-gatherers and how, I mean, they would get up at the butt crack of dawn and go out and gather things and like move and shit. And you know, if that is a human requirement, which is physical activity, which I think it is to try and be healthy. And obviously, like 50% of it is also dependent on your diet. But like, what is going on in your body if you're waiting all day to finally like get moving, to finally kick it? It's like, it's a lot harder, but not only for motivation, but I think, you know, like if you start getting up in the morning and it's just like a routine that you start going every day, I think you'll feel that in the morning. You'll feel that like surge, like I got to get out and go do something. I got to get out and move. And I think that's truly like what our potential is as humans, is that that's what we did, is we went out and we worked most of our day and then came back. And it's sort of a relaxing feeling. It's kind of like, you know, you got all your work done and now I can relax. Yeah,
and I think another way to kind of supplement with that, if you are a nighttime person, like if you do your trial and error and you decide nighttime is my best time to train, I think a good supplement to kind of, you know, kickstarting your day, like I am moving throughout the day, is implementing N.E.A.T, which is non-exercise activity training, I think is the actual acronym. But it's basically like simple things that basically get you moving, and it doesn't feel like exercise, but it adds up. So for instance, you work, okay, we're at Simpson right now. If we both parked at Dunn Library hoping that Dunn Library would be open. We walked all the way over here.
Right.
That's more exercise than you would have gotten if you parked at Kent and walked in here.
That's true.
So, you know, I used to do this when I would go to the Y. I would park in the back of the parking lot, like the very last row. Nobody wants to park out there, but you have to walk into the building, and it's farther and it's more steps.
That's strategic.
Yes. Oh yeah.
I do that at the Y too. Like me and Jacob, we have this thing where we back in and we're farther away from the door.
Yeah. So
not only like are you walking, I mean, it's not even like that walk from Dunn was, you know, so far. It was just like, and also I think that since it's so cold out, it kind of made me start running.
Yeah.
So then you're getting some more, like you're getting like the heart rate coming up. But Yeah, I never thought about that. That's very strategic to like just
yeah.
add in a few more steps throughout your day.
Well, and then there's so many ways you can do this. Like literally you can Google N.E.A.T and it will come up. But it's like taking the stairs instead of the elevator. Another big one that I've thought of for like people that work in like a corporate job or just like kind of a desk job is taking either a smaller water bottle, so it doesn't seem daunting, but you have to drink it, and you have to like just give yourself a goal. Before lunch, I will drink this many of these water bottles. Now, it's small, so you're gonna have to get up and refill it. Some extra steps. You're also going to be peeing a lot. And you're hydrated, so you're gonna be more productive, you're more awake, you're more alert. But you're peeing a lot, so you have to get up to go to the bathroom. So granted, this might like decrease productivity a little bit because you're getting up and moving, but it's something to do. Like I think about this at the Y a lot, and like I think a lot of people wear like fitness trackers now.
Yeah.
Like I have a Fitbit, and like people have Apple Watches, and those like remind you like get up, move. You haven't moved this hour, and so like at the Y, I'll be like, oh, I could go do a body count right now. And so I'll like get up and walk around the Y, and it does help. Like it keeps you alert, and it's a little way to kind of trick yourself into thinking, I'm moving, I'm being active, but it's not like you have to physically exert yourself like you would if you're working out. So I think if you implement that throughout your day and then you do a night workout, it might be a way to supplement and make your body feel like I am moving throughout the day, and then I work out, and then I decompress, and then I go to bed.
Right. Well, and I think it's very important just because the act of sitting, which is like you're really not doing anything, but that's where we're moving to in this day and age where a lot of people have desk jobs. I mean, even for me, like when I sit here and I edit a podcast, which it's not like I really do much editing, but I go through the entire thing. I listen to that thing so I can look at like what I did better. You know, these podcasts end up being like 45 minutes to an hour that I'm sitting there for that entire time, and I'm thinking like, Jesus Christ, like I haven't moved in a while.
Yeah.
You know, and it's poisonous because I heard that is like the worst thing that you could do for yourself is like it increases probably obesity. You're not moving, probably all sorts of factors of like diseases, and so it's incredibly. And I think even breaks too. Like if you're a person that, you know, let's say, you know, for me, or like if you had a desk job, it's like if you're gonna be sitting for a large portion of the day, maybe you should plan it out to where you have 10-minute breaks at the end of each hour where you can just like get up and do like one lap or something.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, just the activity of sitting, I feel like is so poisonous. And it's like there's so many little things that you could fine tune, like, and that's such a smart idea. Like, this is a big water bottle. I would almost say that I would like going down to a smaller one, so I have to get up each time.
Yeah.
But what I was going to ask you, what would your employers think if you have to constantly piss?
Okay. You have
like,
to
then what do you do?
I mean, maybe taking that size water bottle so that like you're not getting up as much to refill it. You know, maybe that. I mean, you kind of have to like feel it out for your job. Like at the Y, I wish I was more hydrated because I take like a big water bottle because I know, you know, sometimes it gets busy and I won't be able to go refill it.
Right.
And so, you know, I feel like you just kind of have to feel it out for your job. But I don't think that as long as you're drinking water, it doesn't really matter what size the container is. I gravitate towards larger water bottles just because I don't love filling them up. And I see it as a challenge, like a visual challenge. I look at it and I'm like, okay, you got to conquer this. Let's go. And so like visually I'm like, okay, let's go. But like I'll drink like a 32-ounce water bottle, like, I don't know, in a couple hours and feel good about myself. But
yeah, like that's like it's something that I forget about a lot is that I have the water bottle. And so like what's a way of reminding ourselves that we have this thing? Because I carry this around with me everywhere. But it's like if I'm doing an activity where I'm on my computer, you know, I'm checking emails, you know, I'm posting the podcast, checking Facebook, whatever. Pretty soon it's been like 30 minutes or something. I'm like, oh my God, my water bottle is like right next to me. Why am I not taking a drink? Does the whole idea, like the restriction of moderation apply to water as well? Because I've heard that you could drink too much water.
I think you can.
What the fuck would that do to you if you drink too much water? Like you just explode, like your bladder would.
I mean,
give out.
There's like I saw this video one time. It was a while back. It was like this lady like actually drank too much water, and like.
Did she die? Can you die from that? Or just?
I don't want to say yes, but I feel like you probably could. But I feel like water is one of those things where like the moderation word is different with water.
It's weird because you need a lot. So what is moderation for this thing?
I don't even know. I mean, I feel like you have to really, 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 really work to drink too much water. Like this, I mean, it's kind of gross, but I would just use your urine as your guide as to whether or not you're hydrated. And I mean, if you're really busy one day, maybe just don't drink as much water as you were if you were just, editing. Or, if you were reading a book at your house and you wanted to get up more. Like when I go to West Des Moines or whatever and just like go shopping for that day, I don't consume as much water because it's inconvenient for me to like have to stop at a bathroom at every single store we go to. And so on those days, as long as my urine is like a light yellow to clear, I'm like, we're in the clear, we're good. I don't have to consume as much water as I would, because you can be hydrated on, some water. Like if you drank that whole bottle, I guarantee you your pee would be enough that you're
So what
hydrated.
happens when I drink this much before we started the podcast? Now I'm on to this guy that's got nothing but straight caffeine that takes out all of this. I purposely did that. Like drink this first before the podcast. So here's how I charge up.
Yeah, I mean that's what I do every morning. As I talked about this earlier with you, like I drink my 2 glasses of water before my coffee, and I've trained myself to do that. And I feel like it also I feel like it's a good thing to start your day with water rather than coffee or tea or a diuretic, because when you sleep, you're sleeping ideally 8 hours. But like even if you sleep 5 hours, like think about going throughout your day, 5 hours out of your day, and you don't drink anything. You don't consume anything. No food, no liquids, no nothing.
Right.
You're dehydrated. So that's what happens when you sleep. You're not consuming anything for those hours. So you wake up and the first thing you give yourself, your body's dehydrated. And the first thing you give yourself is that giant cup of coffee. As delicious as it is, your body's like, we are the Sahara Desert right now. We do not need this, okay? We have nothing left to pee out. Like, come on. And so it's a good thing to start your day with some water. I think, an 8-ounce glass, I think that's a good place to start. It's not gonna hydrate you. Like some people really go for the full, like I'm gonna hydrate myself completely and then I'm gonna have my coffee. For me, I'm like, that's not really realistic, because when you hydrate like regularly, you kind of figure out how long it takes fluids to go through your body. So then you're doing math. So if you have a busy day and you're like, oh, okay, so I have a meeting at 2 o'clock. At least this is how I think. I have a meeting at 2 o'clock, so I need to stop consuming fluids at 1. Because if I consume any fluids after 1, those are gonna mean that during my 2 o'clock meeting, I'm gonna have to pee. And so, as I'm thinking about this, like in the morning, I'm like, okay, I don't wanna drink a ton of liquid because I'm gonna go to class. And I don't wanna get up in the middle of class to pee. So like if I have an 8 a.m. class, more often than not, I'll drink my 2 glasses of water and then I'll take coffee with me to class. And I won't drink my coffee beforehand. But I think it's important to get some water in before you do tea or coffee, because they're a diuretic and they're gonna make you dehydrated.
Right. Does the same apply for like, do you want food in your system before you have coffee, or does it matter? Is it just literally because this is a diuretic that it's only going to affect fluids, so like water?
That's a good question, and I wish I knew more. From what I've heard, this may be like not super factual. I don't know. I've heard this on a couple different sources online. So, take it with a grain of salt. But I've heard that if you drink like 2 glasses or 2 or 3 glasses of water on an empty stomach before caffeine, before food, it can speed up your metabolism a little bit. I don't know if this is true. I do it more so for the fact that I know I'm going to be putting coffee in my body and that dehydrates me. And I don't want to start my day off on an already dehydrated body and then add more like dehydrating substance to my body, because that's just not smart. Like, but I think, I don't know if it matters with food, in all honesty. I think
it probably doesn't. I don't know. I just think that maybe if you started out with water and then, not an empty stomach, because the thing that I found out up in Ames when I was going through my sickness is that this is straight acidic.
Oh yeah.
This is straight acidity that's going to your stomach. And so for me, there was one morning, and it probably wasn't the smartest idea, but I hadn't had any water, and I think all I had was like a smoothie, which granted, it was a healthy smoothie. It was like oats, banana, yogurt, some spinach, and maybe some berries and stuff. But this thing ripped me apart, and I went to class, and then I was like, oh God, no, there's no way I'm gonna make it. And I was like, I'm getting back on. I made it through the first class, but I felt it coming that I was like, I'm not going to be in a lecture hall of like 300 people and have to get up and then like throw up and everybody sees it, you know, like I'm on display for everyone to see. So yeah, I think maybe it's not so much the ingredients, like the food that you're putting in your body, but at least getting some water. I always have a water bottle near me, like on my table when I sleep. Do you think then that it's a better idea to maybe not like chug a bunch of water, but at least get some in your system before you go to bed? That like it would wake you up in the middle of the night, but you have to go piss?
I don't.
No?
Okay, so I think everyone is different, and it kind of depends on you and your body. I know one of my former roommates, she would drink a glass of water before she'd go to bed. I don't really know why. I can't do it because I get upset if I get up in the middle of the night to pee. It happens, but I don't like it. So I generally don't drink, which does mean that in the morning I'm even more dehydrated than those people that drink right before they go to bed.
Right.
Because I'm going, so most nights I would say I probably go to bed like 10 or 10:30, and I would say I probably stop consuming fluids ideally at 9. But there are some nights where I don't consume anything after 8.
Yeah.
And so then it's even longer.
Right.
But I think, I don't know, I don't think that there's anything wrong with consuming fluids before you go to bed. Just
be careful.
Just
don't chug this entire thing right
no,
before bed.
I would sip some water. Like there are times where like I won't drink. I'll not even I don't plan it out, but 8 o'clock hits and I'm like, I haven't consumed any water because I'm hanging out with my roommates or playing game night or whatever. And then right when I am going to bed, I brush my teeth, and then when I brush my teeth, I'm really weird, and I will rinse out my mouth with water, and then I drink water afterwards. And there are some nights where I'm so thirsty by that point in time that I will chug a full 2 glasses of water, and I feel like that's okay, and it hasn't always woken me up, but
when I wake up, there'll be times where I wake up before my alarm's set to go off, and I'm completely parched. But I don't want to roll over. The act of rolling over and doing something physical to get the drink of water, I'm like, nah, I can wait. And then when I wake up, let's say it's an hour later when I'm supposed to get up, I'm like, oh my God, I can't fucking talk. It's like SpongeBob when he's dried out. He's like, oh, Sandy. That's me. So yeah, you probably should. I've heard that it's actually better to drink cold water in the morning. It wakes up your system when you start chugging that first thing in the morning.
Yeah, and I've actually done. I don't love talking about diets because I feel like diet is kind of a taboo word now.
It's hard.
But
there's so many out there.
Yeah, the one diet that I did, it ended up being beneficial because it taught me that I was gluten intolerant. So that was, it was good. But that diet, every morning it had you start off with a glass of lemon water. And I think if you hate water, adding lemons to your water is a good thing because lemons detoxify. And it makes your water taste fun. It's this is kind of fun.
A little bit of flavor.
Yeah, and so I've heard that lemon water when you wake up is a good thing. I think any water, is fine. I don't think that there's necessarily an enormous health benefit from drinking lemon water versus regular water before your coffee. I don't think it really matters, but I think lemon water is a good thing, and some people do it warm. Some people don't like the cold right in the morning. It's just too much of a shock to the system.
Right.
So I don't think that there's anything wrong with doing warm water, but there's this whole myth. I don't know enough about it, so I can't really give you my opinion, but there's this myth that if you drink cold water, it burns more calories. Because your muscle, because you're cold, so you're consuming it, and then your muscles tense, which means that they're kind of doing work, and then you're burning more calories. I'm like, this is kind of like, I don't think it's
hard to really tell because we benefit through going through heat shock proteins. So like getting in a sauna or like a steam room is super good for your body, especially in terms of recovery. So like after a workout, if you get in one of those things, it's kind of like oozing out all like the knots and kinks and making your body like very relaxed. But then there's also so many benefits to like cold shock proteins. Why a lot of people ice, sore joints or I mean, for my ankle, like I have issues with mobility just because I've like heard it so many times over the years. So it's like, which one is it? Is it hot or is it cold?
I would say, okay, this is
both. It's probably both. Like
I would say honestly, I would go based on your preference, because I think I'm a big believer in you have to like something in order to do it.
Right.
So if you hate warm water, but there's scientific studies out there that warm water is better for you, go with cold water.
Yeah.
If you're more motivated to drink the cold water because it means you're getting some water in.
Yeah.
If you're more motivated by hot water, like one of my mom's colleagues or former colleagues and like best friends, she loves hot beverages and she loves them to be hot. Like she microwaves her coffee like repeatedly because she likes to sit there for so long, and she's burnt off like all of her taste buds, so like it doesn't really affect her anymore, but she loves it. And so like when we go to like trivia night, she will, in the wintertime, she will ask for hot water because they'll give you like water to start out with, and then you can like order whatever drink you want. And so in the wintertime, she'll order hot water. And I think, it's the same. It's the same. It's two hydrogens and an oxygen, whether it's hot or cold. Right. So I think whatever your preference is, whatever's going to motivate you more to consume the water, go with that.
Right. If
lemon water gets you, go with that. I mean,
did you notice anything that changed once you started drinking the lemon water?
Not really. It was just more like, it was more exciting. I didn't really notice a big change. It was only like a week-long diet, so like I didn't really do it for that long.
Right.
But I notice a difference when I consume water in the morning versus not. Like, I feel like I'm more awake before I've even had my coffee, just having some water, and I think it's just the dehydrated factor. But
yeah, because you were saying how with the lemon, that's really good for detoxifying. Does your piss smell different?
I don't smell it.
Okay,
in all honesty.
Because it's the same thing with asparagus. It's really good at detoxifying. And I don't know if you ever noticed, because it's pretty pungent. It's like if I've eaten asparagus and then I go piss, I can smell it. It is different. Like there's no smell to my piss, and I haven't had asparagus. But then when I do eat it, it's like I'm not gonna call it aroma because that's not the right term for it. It's not like a bad smell, but it's just kind of like that's different. It smells different.
I've been told that coffee can make your pee smell like coffee too. Like if you have really good coffee, apparently. I don't know. I heard about this. I think it was my exercise phys professor was like, yeah, when you have coffee and it's like really good coffee, just sniff your pee afterwards because you'll know it's your coffee pee because it smells like straight coffee. I'm like, okay, I don't really want to be that up close and personal with my pee. But
what if somebody was like like they had just had their last cup of coffee and then they pissed and they were so desperate that they like scooped up their piss and drank? Would it get you more like energetic? Like if it smells like coffee?
Oh my god, I don't know.
Just try that out. That would be an experiment.
No, I don't even know if you could even pay me enough money to do it. Oh, that's so gross.
That's gross. Yeah, don't do that, kids.
Not recommended.
Don't try that at home. What do you think about intermittent fasting? Because that's one that's fascinating to me, and I've been trying to figure out a diet plan that is sustainable, but I really think it's, again, partly on motivation, just like getting into the gym. It's really hard to stick to it.
Yeah.
For me, like I always want to give myself a reward. Like my parents got me Reese's peanut butter cups, and they're like the Christmas tree version, so they just taste so much better.
Yep.
And I have one every day, which is probably not bad, if it's just one.
Yeah.
But I feel like I never kick the little side cravings to get into something that is gonna make me feel better. Like if I do it every day.
Yeah, I think it's funny that you brought that up because I'm actually going through like a rut nutrition-wise right now.
It's hard.
I don't even know what it is.
It's so hard to figure out.
I don't even know what it is because normally I don't have a problem eating healthy, and part of that is just I have to eat healthy. Like when you're gluten and lactose intolerant, all the bad foods are eliminated, and it's like if you want to cheat food or whatever, I mean, you can eat all foods, whatever. But like if I want something more often than not, I have to make it myself or like go someplace. And so, you know, eating healthy is something that I do thoroughly enjoy, but like there are certain foods that are not healthy that I can still consume.
Mm-hmm.
One of them last night, I will admit to my sins because, you know, I'm an open book.
Confess.
So during the baking season, Aldi came out with peanut butter chips. Peanut butter and chocolate, if you put anything, peanut butter chocolate together, I will be so down and I will eat it.
That's a deadly combo. And I mean that in the best way.
Oh my God. Like literally anything peanut butter chocolate, I am there.
Yeah.
And like, I love mint chocolate, but peanut butter chocolate is a new level. Like it's just so much better to me. And so I bought, this was a mistake. I bought the peanut butter chips because I saw them in Aldi, and this was back in like November because it was like the start of baking season. And when it's baking season, Aldi has like all of these like fun baking things in their baking aisle that go away when baking season isn't around anymore. And so I bought these peanut butter chips because I was like, oh, those look really good. Yeah, my addiction was like right then and there. I was like, oh my God, I could eat these all day, every day. And so so like for my dessert, which I'll admit I did it twice a day. I did it lunch and dinner, which, okay, whatever. And I would make like a little bowl of my 60% chocolate chips and my peanut butter chocolate chips. And I just make like a little bowl and I'd eat that and life is good. Well, I'd gone a long time without my peanut butter chips and I had to go to Aldi the other day. And I was walking through the baking aisle, which was I didn't even need to be there. So why I walked through that aisle, I don't know. I saw the peanut butter chips and I was like, oh no, I really want them. And you know, it's been the holidays and we've all consumed more sugar than we should. And so our bodies are used to a higher level of sugar. Yeah. And so I bought them. And last night, I definitely consumed more of those than I should.
Right.
Like with my 60%, like I like made my little bowl and I made one bowl with the like Boom Chicka Pop salty sweet kettle corn, which is like my weakness. So I did that with the chocolate chips in it and then I ate one of those. And then, I don't know, I just wasn't satisfied after that. So I went back for a second bowl of just straight chocolate chips. And it's not like a huge bowl, but I'm like, I don't know, like that's sort of where I'm at. I'm like, why can't I break this habit? Like I really should be down to, I eat sweets. Like I really have tried to get on this like habit of I eat dessert one time a day. And so I get to pick, is it after lunch or is it after dinner? But I only get one. So every day I have to decide after lunch, do I really need a sweet treat or can I wait till after dinner? And I used to be really good at it. Like I used to be kind of in a zone and that was back when I was at school and I had a routine and like, you know, it was working really well and then I haven't been able to break it.
I'm the same way, and I think it's like once you give into it, that's what starts it. And it's so easy to say that, oh, tomorrow I'm gonna eat healthy. Oh, fuck, I'm gonna break that habit next week. But it really takes time because I wouldn't say that. At one point I was a little bit heavier than I am now, and it just once you started to integrate things that were more healthy for you, you started to crave those things less, and then you just slowly inched yourself away from it. But then once you give into it, it's like you kind of get in that rhythm. Like each day, I'm like, oh yeah, I can have one. That's all right. Which I think that's fine in terms of moderation. But I truly think you should not be having it every day.
Yeah.
Like space it out every other day. Like and then at some point, like once a week, because I was so good at it that I would treat myself to McDonald's once a week. What's bad with getting a freaking Big Mac once a week? Nothing. You'll work it off that week. Moderate. Like you can eat shitty if you're disciplined.
Yeah.
Like I mean that, and that you can do that like once a week and be completely fine. It's not gonna like do anything bad to your health.
Yeah, and I think while you're trying to break the habit, one thing that's helped me is trying to find healthy alternatives to the stuff that I'm craving, so that I still feel like I'm getting my sweet fix.
Right.
But I'm eating it healthier. So like this will be a hack for you if you want to get off of your peanut butter cup kick.
Well, I only have 3 left.
Okay.
And I don't plan on buying any more. I only have them because I got them for Christmas. They were in my stocking. I was like, I'm gonna eat these.
Dude, I respect that because I would totally eat them too. No, but like my like healthy like peanut butter cup, it like kind of tastes like one. Is you take a date, you cut it in half. If it's pitted already, then great. If it's not, you cut it in half, take the pit out. and you scoop like a little bit of peanut butter in it, and you melt down some 60% dark chocolate chips, and then you drizzle that on top, and it tastes like a healthy peanut butter cup. And it's healthy. Yeah. It's like actually really good. And like, I don't know, it's like little things like that. Like I figured this out. I eat weird food though. Like really weird combos of food that like normal people wouldn't put together. But like just finding like little like weird hacks to like helping yourself, like tricking your brain into thinking, I'm getting the cheat food, but it's healthy. Like it's healthified. So like if you're really craving like sweet potato fries, make them yourself, bake them, and use like a healthy oil. And then get like really creative with your seasonings. You know?
What's a healthy oil? Like I don't know what to cook my meat in, my eggs.
It depends. Olive oil is healthy, but I've heard that olive oil can be dangerous if you heat it past a certain point. Like it can be a carcinogen.
Oh.
So, I mean, I still do it, which is so bad, but olive oil,
coconut oil is pretty good too, right?
Coconut
That's
oil,
healthy.
I do coconut oil, and then I do ghee, which is like clarified butter, because it's lactose free, and it gives me that buttery, like when I crave like I make this healthified garlic butter shrimp, and you just do ghee, and then like I get the Costco minced garlic because I'm lazy like that, and just scoop that garlic in there, and then I'll like pull the tails off my shrimp and then saute them in that, and then I'll put them on like a salad, or I'll put them on like some zucchini pasta, or you know, something like that, and it tastes really unhealthy, but ghee is pretty healthy for you in all honesty.
What would you say for a person like me that it's not that I don't like to cook, but like I don't get very fancy with it, and I think that's the thing. I think as Americans, we are so used to this extravagant lifestyle of like putting all this pleasure food in our mouth. It's not really good for us. That anytime like you just eat a simple meal, you're like, I'm doing myself a disservice. Like I should be able to have a double cheeseburger. How can you make it more attractive and sexy, but also at the same time it's healthy for you?
I think a lot of it plays into how you flavor your food. Because you can eat the same food every single day, but if you flavor it differently, your body's like, hey, this chicken and broccoli tastes like Cajun chicken and broccoli.
True.
Or today I'm really feeling oregano and basil. It's going to be an Italian themed. And then I think you can also, I mean, as long as you're careful with it, I think adding like condiments and sauces that are like kind of, you know, on the healthier side, that's another good way to like spice up kind of boring meals. So like, you know, chicken, rice, and broccoli, if you add some salsa and black beans to it, it can become a burrito bowl.
Right.
Or, you know, just I think spicing it up with different seasonings and then condiments is another big one.
Okay, because like, do you normally eat the same food like throughout the week, like each day? I mean, I would say there's a benefit to it because I think your body gets used to it, especially if it's healthy. Like before I got sick, I was on top of it. That like I ate at the same time every day. It's like my body knew, and I was the trimmest, leanest I've ever looked.
I don't eat the same thing every single day because I get bored. Like even with switching up my spices, I get bored. But I try to stick to the same general idea. So like I'll do a source of protein, a source of carbs, and a source of like healthy fat. And usually I try to do like a veggie in like lunch and dinner. I don't usually do veggies at breakfast because I have my oatmeal concoction that I like am really into.
I love oatmeal. What do you use for your oatmeal?
Oh my gosh. Okay, my oatmeal concoction that I make. It's 1/4 cup oats. I do a scoop of protein powder. I use the Trader Joe's vanilla pea protein. It is literally the cleanest protein. It's like 5 ingredients. It's like $14 for like a big tub of it. It's a great deal. 10 out of 10 recommend.
Wait, so you just, it's like a powder?
Yeah.
Almost?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you do 1/4 cup of quick cooking oats, scoop of protein powder. Then this is where it gets eyeballish. I do roughly a tablespoon of chia seeds, roughly 2 tablespoons of coconut sugar, and then 1.5 tablespoons of cacao powder. Mix it up, add hot water, and then usually I'll do like a spoonful of peanut butter and stir it up. Yeah. It's kind of addicting, and it makes you feel like you're having dessert for breakfast, but it's like the cacao powder is magnesium, antioxidants. It's a good plant-based source of protein. Your peanut butter is another good plant-based source of protein. You have protein powder in there. You have oats that are going to kind of fuel you. Chia seeds get the digestive system going, so you're all cleaned out. You know, lots of benefits.
Because I worked at Acai, so shout out to Acai. You guys are fucking awesome. But was it chia seeds or was it there's a seed that you have to be careful when serving to the customers that want it, because if you put too much, yeah, they say like you'll shit your pants.
Chia seeds are one of them. Flax seeds do the same thing, I think.
I don't feel like it was chia seeds though. It looked like it was bee pollen.
Oh, bee pollen.
Bee pollen can mess people up.
I've never had
But
it.
there was one time when I was working and there was a girl that came in and she like demanded that we put more, like extra. I'm like, you know what happens, right? And she acted like this is what she does all the time, so maybe like it just doesn't faze her.
Maybe.
But I was like, you're brave.
Yeah.
Because I just put like a little teaspoon, just a little dink.
Yeah, no, there's lots of different things out there that can get your digestive system flowing. Like, some people do flax seeds. I don't generally do flax seeds because one of my professors is anaphylactic to flax seeds in the air, and we babysat her kids in our apartment this last semester, and so she doesn't know. She hasn't had her kids tested because they're 3 and 1.5, but because she is like so severely allergic to flax seeds in the air, like we just don't really use them in my apartment. So I generally use chia seeds. You can also make like chia puddings, which is like an overnight. You can do overnight oats, so many different things. But like in terms of like lunch and dinner, I really got into cauliflower rice. And I just buy like the frozen stuff at Aldi, and then you just microwave it. And then usually I'll do like eggs, because I love eggs. I do shrimp, like frozen cooked shrimp already. Those are like super easy. I occasionally do tuna, but like tuna has high mercury content, or can have high mercury content. So like I try to watch my tuna intake. Like I try not to like do it all the time.
Right.
Sometimes I'll do ground turkey. Like I'll make a roll of ground turkey and then just have that like meal prepped. So then I'll just add that in.
I think just like trying to figure out what time it is for you to work out in the day, it's just like you should also experience with different foods and see if you get any sort of kick out of it.
Yeah, and I'm trying to experiment with that, I guess, sort of. Like, there was a time where I thought about like trying to cut back on my grains, and that was sort of where I discovered cauliflower rice. Like I knew about it, but I wanted to try it because it was like sort of a rice substitute. And that was also during the same time that I was trying to get more veggies in my diet. And I was like, hey, this is tricking me into thinking I'm having rice, but it's vegetables. And then I can add more veggies on top, and then it's a double serving of vegetables. And, you know, it doesn't taste like a double serving of vegetables, even though I genuinely enjoy vegetables. But, yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know. I know that I need to eat more veggies. That's like, I know that.
I think everybody can try and eat more veggies. I'm the same way. I'm like, I know I'm not getting enough, but then there's people that do all carnivore diet, and it seems to work out beautifully for them.
Yeah, and I don't see anything wrong with that. I feel like everyone's different, and so I hate when people are like, this is the way I eat, and this is the way you too should eat, because this is good. And like, I totally respect people that want to go vegan, or want to go vegetarian, or pescatarian, or, you know, whatever. I respect those people because I think, you know, you're finding what works for you, and I think that there is a benefit even if you really thrive on a carnivore diet. I think there is some benefit to, you know, trying, you know, one meal a week doing vegetarian.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be vegan. It can literally be vegetarian. Just something where like I try to cut back on my meat sometimes. Like, you know, sometimes I'll do eggs instead. I'll be like, you know, I just want to like, sometimes I'm not in the mood for meat. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't consume a lot of red meat. That's not really like intentional. It was one of those things where like when I started to go healthy, my health journey, we could literally go on that for like 7 years. But when I like started becoming healthy, a lot of things that I cut out of my diet, I didn't cut out intentionally. I just never craved them. So like chips and soda, I never craved them. Just never consumed them.
Yeah, there's some that just fall to the wayside pretty easy, because like I used to drink pop, but I wasn't consumed by it. That when I just finally decided to drop it off, it wasn't that hard. It was just like I let go of it and never came back. And understood why I should never come back, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember the last time I've had a pop. It's been a long time. I don't like drinking pop.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can find so many things, like even like sparkling water.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of ones out there that are very flavorful that like fit, you know, and they pretty much supplement the fact of like drinking a pop. It's like, this isn't that bad, and it's probably even cheaper.
Yeah, and I know like LaCroix has like all these flavors. Like I tried the hibiscus one. Wow, that's really good. And I found out, I don't know if you've experienced this, do you have issues with carbonation? Like after cutting out pop, if you were to drink a sparkling juice or a sparkling water, does it upset your stomach?
No, not necessarily, but I mean, it's been a long time since I cut out pop, and I didn't like start supplementing with sparkling water until a few years after. So I don't think I ever really paid attention. It's just like, you know, I don't get it every week when I go to the store. It's like just whenever I'm feeling it.
Because I noticed when I cut out pop unintentionally, I tried to get a pop like one time, like because it was unintentionally, like I cut it out, and then one day I was like, ooh, you know, a strawberry Fanta sounds really good, because that used to be like one of my very favorites, and it's kind of rare. And so when I found it, I was like, oh, I'll get that. And I think I got halfway through the bottle, and I literally thought I was gonna throw up. Like the carbonation got to me, and it was even with like sparkling apple juice at like, you know, events like New Year's. I would take like a little shot glass, and that was all I could handle.
Yeah.
And like, it's just become recently that like I can handle, like if I drink, you know, a sparkling water or a White Claw or whatever, I can get through the whole thing, but then I have to stop.
Yeah, well, now that you mentioned that, I was thinking the last time I had a pop, it was a Mountain Dew, and it was like a few months ago, and it fucked me up. I was like almost knocked out, and I was like, it's gotta be the pop. Like, I'm just not used to it. And then I just threw that in my body. It's like throwing kerosene in just a small confined space. It was like, poof.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. I'm like, it had to have been that. That's the only thing that I added.
Yeah.
Because, like, literally, other than this coffee, I mean, I'm drinking water.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. And you don't supplement with anything, like, when you work out?
No, no pre-workouts, nothing. It's just usually water. I'm trying to think if there was anything that I've added recently, but no, because I think even pre-workout, it depends. There's bad pre-workouts out there like C4, which I used to drink C4.
Yep.
It was so bad.
Been there, done that.
Oh my God, you know, and I will give them credit. Like sometimes I had amazing workouts after I took a C4, but it was like I got through the workout, and then at some point, once it was done, I almost died. I was like on my deathbed. I'm like, it tore me up.
Yeah. Have you crashed like hardcore for the most?
Yeah.
Have you ever tried Optimum Nutrition has the aminos with energy? Oh man, those I crashed.
Really?
Hardcore. Well, because I've gone through phases with like supplementation. So like when I first started out, I knew nothing, and so I did creatine. I knew enough about creatine that I was like, I know you have to be hydrated because you can do serious damage.
Right.
But I didn't know what creatine was actually going to do to me. I was like, hey, this is a very popular supplement. I'd seen some people on social media using it, and they had some pretty fantastic looking bodies, and I was like, hey, let's try it out. So like I did it for a while, and I like knew the risks. Like I knew you have to have a lot of water because it dehydrates you, and you know, I knew that it was going to bloat you a little bit because you have so much water retention when you do it. And I only did it once, like never again. And then I tried the aminos with energy, and that was when I was guarding. I would guard 5:30 to 7:30, and I would work out before my guard shift usually. So I'd get out of school at 3, I'd eat a snack, and I'd go work out at like 4, work out to 5, shower, and then be on standby 5:30. And so I was drinking the aminos with energy, and I literally, by the time 6 o'clock would hit, I would be dead. I could barely keep my eyes open on the guard stand. Like I was like, this is not safe. And I haven't bought it since. Like, and that was back when I was probably a junior in high school.
Huh.
Yeah, like there's some crazy stuff out there.
Yeah. No, you definitely have to be careful with what you're messing with.
Yeah, and supplementation, you may know this, it's not regulated.
Yeah.
Like what they put on there is like, this may or may not be in it.
There was a fighter in the UFC that I think took a supplement, and I could be completely wrong, because the reason that they put him on high alert is because he did get in trouble for like cocaine. It was found in his system one time, but he was clean. He like served his suspension, came back, and he took something, like some pre-workout that had like, it tested positive for that shit. And then but it was like a small, well actually no, I think that it could, there's a form of it that can stay in your system for years, but it can go undetected at some points and then pop back up. So they busted him because they're like, oh, you've been caught before, but he testified and was like, no, like that shit just doesn't go out of your system. Like it was a very small trace amount.
Oh wow.
So yeah, you have to be careful because that, you know what's in that shit.
Yeah, the only supplements I take
pointed
now.
to the coffee. I'm like, I know what's in here. I love my coffee.
I know. Well, see, now the only pre-workout I do is coffee. So
Yeah.
like usually I drink coffee in the morning, and then if I work out later in the day and I really need it, like some days I'm like really tired or it's leg day and I just really want to buzz or something, I'll do a second cup of coffee.
In the afternoon?
Yeah.
Oh my, you're brave.
The latest I do is like 3.
I have to stop by noon, which it's like, it's 1 o'clock and I still got a little bit left in here.
Yeah. Well, see, I don't know. I've learned that like it doesn't stay in my system that long. So
I knew that since you and I were going to meet up and do a podcast today, I was like, all right. So then yesterday I didn't have any coffee.
Oh wow.
Well, I don't think you can have it every day. I think you have to be careful because and then I'll spoil myself if like I go a day without it. Then the day that I do have it, I'll have 4 cups. I'll be like, let's go.
See, I know my coffee addiction is really bad. Like, I know it's bad. I know it's bad. But the way I view it, okay, I know I should probably do a caffeine cleanse because like, but the only caffeine I consume is coffee and green tea. Like in all honesty, that's all I consume because I don't do pre-workout and I don't do energy drinks and I don't do soda. So really it's coffee and then green tea. And usually I'll do coffee in the morning, and if I need like a boost, I try to go green tea.
Yeah.
If it's my pre-workout, it's got to be coffee.
Yeah.
But I genuinely enjoy the taste of coffee. So like cutting it out is like kind of sad.
Right.
So like I know I should do a caffeine cleanse. I know that it's beneficial and blah blah blah. But like I love coffee.
Yeah. There's so much to coffee, and like just even thinking about it, I'm like, it's not like, because there's people that drink coffee like just very loosely, and I like the people that appreciate it and speak of it in delicate terms, because when I think of coffee, I think of like the aroma and the pot, and then I let it sit there for a while and simmer and get a little bit, because I don't like pouring it after I've just made it. I like it to sit and boil a little bit and get even warmer. And then recently what I've been doing is like, I'll go upstairs, I'll put my phone away, I'll put all electronics away, and I'll give myself like 30 minutes to write. And then I just have my coffee mug right up on my desk, and I'm just like, I'm sipping it in between as I'm like writing and thinking, and it's just like, I don't know, it's like an art form, but people just drink it like not that way. Like they're just like, no, I just gotta have my coffee today. I can't survive without coffee. It's like, it's more than, it's like you have to sit there and appreciate it. You know what I mean?
Well, see, people ask me why I get up so much earlier than I have to, because honestly, I learned the other day when I slept through my alarm, I can be ready to go, completely ready, teeth brushed, everything, breakfast and coffee packed, 10 minutes. That's all it takes me.
Wow.
But if I have an 8 a.m. class, I will set my alarm for 6:50 a.m. I will not leave my apartment until 7:45. So I have like 55 minutes. And theoretically, I can get ready in 10. But I give myself that time because I like the quiet to sit and enjoy my breakfast and my coffee.
Yes.
Like I literally carve out that time in the morning, breakfast and coffee, and I don't like starting my day rushed.
Yes.
So I feel like if you can sit there and enjoy your breakfast and your coffee, at least for me, my day's better.
Yes.
Because I don't feel like I started out stressed. Like
yes.
it's
and
just
like
good.
we were talking about earlier, I was saying that, you know, when we're at the coffee shop, it's like I move too fast, and I can tell when I'm agitated, and it's usually in those moments where I'm moving too fast and I get exhausted. This is a perfect way. It's a perfect substance, and I'm going to use that term carefully because you can use like harmful substances, but it is like a drug to some people, and they do get dependent on it. But that's I think that there's like taking a moment to inhale in the morning, having a cup of coffee, just get your thoughts flowing. That's why I like using it when I'm writing, because it gets the tools up here like working a little bit. And that's how you should start your day. You shouldn't feel like rushed, like you have to, like you're on the fly, because that's the start of your morning, and that determines how you're gonna feel for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
It's like you just gotta have your Zen moment in the morning.
Yeah.
And all throughout the day too.
Yeah. Well, I love, like, when I've traveled, most recently, but when I was in Sweden, they do this thing called fika. And it's literally like a snack. But the idea behind fika is it can literally be like coffee or tea with like any type of food. So like some people do like open-faced sandwiches, or they'll do like a pastry or something. But the idea is you do it whenever it fits in your schedule, so like middle of the day, and you enjoy that with like friends. It's a social time. And it's literally like, I love the pace of life in Europe. I like Europe. I have my issues with Europe too. But one of the things that I like about Europe is that people there are totally happy in the middle of the day to go to a coffee shop and literally just enjoy. Like, they enjoy their coffee, they enjoy their time there, they go with a friend, they socialize. Like, and I feel like in the US we don't do that.
We don't.
And so when I get to do that, like, I carve out the time in my morning to do that. And sometimes in the afternoon, if I decide, I want to have a second cup of coffee, I'll do it while I'm, enjoying. Like, I'll do it while I'm doing my homework, as like I'm getting ready to work out, but like, gotta wait for it to kick in. And but I feel like when I drink coffee, I'm happy, and so I don't like to do that in like a stressful situation. But I like that in Europe, they do that. They, that's normal. And I wish that was a thing here.
That's why I love podcasts. Is like every time that I get done with a podcast, I'm like, you feel recharged. And I think that people aren't taking the time to talk anymore. And it's like you can add things like coffee with it. They're a perfect complement to each other. And you're exactly right. Is that we're getting away from not only like interacting with each other, but just like slowing down a little bit. Like even if it's like 10% of your day where you just take little moments, to have your coffee in the morning, if you want to journal, if you want to do a little bit of meditation, and then, hey, like I've gotten a lot of work done, I feel pretty good, pretty productive. Now it's lunchtime, like let's go meet up with some friends, like let's go to the cafe, It can only be for an hour. Then go back to work, and then, whatever you want to do to chill out for the rest of the night, read a book, whatever it is. But instead, we've gotten to this point where it's like we have to bump out as many projects. We got all these deadlines that we have to, like stick up on our end. But like, meanwhile, you feel off, and that's why I like taking time to sit back and reflect. And no one's taking the time to do it. And the times that I am rushing are the times that I feel so much like not only not like myself, but the person that I don't want to be. Because then I come home and like, more agitated, don't want to talk to my family members, or like if I have to go straight from this job to the Y, I don't want to talk to the members. And it's like, I hate being that person. I like being the person that not only energizes other people, but that's what I get out of these conversations, is I get something, I get energy.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but do you like, when you're go, do you ever like, this sounds bad, but like, do you ever get this like, something will happen, it'll, a snowstorm will hit and you'll have to cancel plans, or you're go, and then you get sick. Do you ever enjoy the fact that it's an excuse to stop? Like if you're go all the time and you can't turn it off, and something, it's like the universe knows you need a break. Do you ever like appreciate it?
Appreciate stopping?
The having to stop because of whatever.
I think if you've been in a constant state of movement, you don't, and I think it like takes time to like slow down. So for instance, I've been working at Iowa Beverage, and I just now like finally stopped, and it's taken me like a week to kind of like decompress and get back, because it's just like I was saying earlier with the book, it's like I'm so used to moving and thinking all the time that when I actually sit down and try and read, my mind's in a jumble that I can't focus on it. It's hard, and I think that we forgot how to do it. So you have to consciously practice it each day. And some days are harder than others. Like when I think of this podcast, I'm always thinking of ideas, and I'm thinking of people who I want to bring on, and it's like I notice that I get to this point where it's like the creative person that I am, and I have this creative influence, and I want to bump out a bunch of stuff, but I'm like, no, you can't do that, dude. Like, you have to slow down. That is where the creativity and just the flow of life, like that zen, like this energy that you feel around you starts to be like integrated into your day, and you feel more natural.
Yeah, and I mean, going off of that, I feel like it's unfortunate that so much of today's society has convinced us that in order to be productive, you have to be going all the time. You have to grind all the time. You know, you have your job, you have your side hustle, you have, you know, X, Y, Z. And I feel like, you know, you're more productive if you do take the time to, you know, slow down. But I feel like, at least for me, I feel guilty when I slow down.
Yeah.
Like if I slow down, like, you know, some days I'm like, okay, I gotta get my workout in, I gotta go to all my classes, get all my homework done, go get my allergy shots, you know, go coach at night, and then I feel guilty if I take the time to push one of those things off to the next day.
Well, and you probably also, for me too, is like, I feel anxious if I didn't get all those things done. I'm like, oh my God, I was supposed to get all of them done. And it's like, it's not realistic to get all that done or put that much on your plate. The times that I put so much into my schedule for the day and I didn't get it done, I was freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
We can't do that much. And adding to your point of productivity, there's actually this interesting study that I was looking at, and it said that, you know how humans have now like gotten to the point where we're doing 8-hour work days, which really started tipping off when the Industrial Revolution started, because they had to bump out products. So they're like, oh, we're gonna make people work 8-hour work days. The human is actually most productive for only about 3 hours out of the entire day. So realistically, we should probably be doing 6-hour work days. Mm-hmm. That's probably enough to handle.
Yeah.
That's crazy that you're only at your most productive output for like 3 hours out of your entire day. But there are people that are working 2 jobs, working 10-hour work days, 12 hours, and meditation is so important because we never take the time. Our brain is constantly stimulated. Every time your eyes are open, there's something to interpret or analyze or work with in the world. When you sit down and you close your eyes and you don't look at anything, it's like you're supercharging your brain, giving it a break, allowing it to think, process.
Yeah, I need to meditate. I've done it like off and on. Like, I really have only done it like 2 or 3 times, and it was like for a class.
It's hard.
It's so hard. Like, I go to yoga and I consider that like my meditation or whatever, because like, I don't know, it's some sort of a break. But I find even in yoga, like when I'm supposed to be like slowing down and like taking a break and like, you know, not thinking about, you know, everything that I have going on, because that will still be there when I leave class, I literally like analyze like as I'm going through, and they're like the best classes are the ones where I'm able to kind of shut that off. But I know this, like if I go to yoga and I have a lot on my mind before I go, the class isn't as good for me.
Yeah.
Because I can't flip that switch. And I feel like I should try meditation to see if I can, like, you know, it's once again, it's the culture, like you have to go 1,000,000 miles an hour, and I find it really hard to like shut that off, like even just for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, because it's still in my brain. I'm like, oh yeah, and I had that one assignment to do, and
right.
You know.
Yeah, no, it's a for sure real thing, and I think that a lot of people are dealing with it. And if we could start to like talk about it more, like maybe people would understand. And I think we're getting more cognizant of it. It's like, I think a lot of people would agree with that statement and say like, yeah, like we need to slow down. And like I said, like I feel the most productive. I feel the most energized. I feel most of my creative ideas coming out when I've taken the time to slow down. And that's why I think that if I'm gonna make any job, like any career endeavor that I choose to pursue moving forward, it has to be something that gives me balance and flexibility, where I'm not working the entire day. And maybe, you know, I could be a freelancer, I could be at home doing my own thing, doing the story, right, doing a podcast, whatever, but then that's my time to work. But then the rest of the day I can do whatever.
Yeah.
I think people, we have to be open to like repealing these false like statements that we've given out to people, because it really is like brainwash. I mean, we all think that we constantly have to be moving, but it's just not realistic.
Yeah.
And meditation is one of those things where I think you have to be consistent with it. And I just started doing it on January 1st, and so I've done it each day. We're on the 11th, but I'm only doing like 2 to 5 minutes. I'm just trying to like fine tune 2 to 5 minutes, so then I can start going 10.
Yeah.
But even that, it's still hard. I'm on day 11 and I cannot sit and focus sometimes.
Yeah.
Some days are better than others, but I will say that every time I do it, I do feel just a little bit more clear once I'm done.
Yeah, I need to try it because this semester is going to be. I definitely put too much on my plate this
Right.
semester, and part of the problem is that I am now struggling to say no to things because everything I have on my plate I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
you know, I love coaching. I've loved it for so long, and the fact that I might have to give up some coaching days to take on a potential second job, which would be a good resume booster, could turn into a big girl job. Like, it's really hard to turn that down.
Mm-hmm.
But then I also, you know, they want me there 1 to 4 nights a week,
Mm-hmm.
5 to 9 at night, and so that means that I'm going to have to cut out a coaching day. And before the semester started, I agreed to one of my friends that I would, you know, be on his intramural water polo team. And I was like, you know, I just want to have some fun. Like, that would be fun.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, I'll do intramural water polo. And I'm also in triathlon. So I have 2 triathlons I'm training for. And I like think about all this and I'm like, I am going to run myself into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like this is the time, like the universe is like telling me, like, you need to get into meditation because otherwise you're going to be dead by spring break.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you have pointers on, like, I mean, obviously just do it, but like, do you have like pointers on like how to start?
Start meditation?
Yes.
It's, I think for one, obviously you have to limit your distractions. So for me, it's hard living in my parents' house, is that I want to have a location that is separate from my bedroom to do meditation, because I think psychologically, and they've even done studies on this, for one, you shouldn't have a TV in your bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
But they even say doing homework in your bedroom, it's because your brain is making all these associations with all the stimuli that you're engaging with in your room, that your room should just be set for sleeping, and then you probably get better sleep.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, if you could, I mean, yeah, it's just the consistency, and I mean, you have to just try and do it. I would start out small and then work your way up, and it gets easier. But yeah, I think really you have to try and make a location for it, because when I was in Ames and I was doing it, me and Dakota would do it in the living room, so it was separate from my bedroom. I kind of knew, like, okay, I'm going to start in the morning, I'm going to do 10 minutes, and we had so much time on our hands before school started that it was like 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the middle of the day, and 10 minutes before night. You have to create that repetition in your body, because it's just like learning a new skill. If you've trained your brain to be anxious, it's a lot of work to retrain it to slow down. But I will say that the benefits are plentiful. Like, everything changes. Like, colors are brighter. Conversations that you have with people, like, you feel more present, like, instead of all that chatter. Like, even now, like in this podcast, there's some times where, like, in the back of my head, I have an idea running, or I'm like, did I press the record button? I really want to go over there and check it, and if I didn't get it, that's really fucked up, because we were having a great conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, with meditation, it's just all about the consistency, and you will find that it gets easier, and then you will see, like, your life improves so much more. Every little thing, like, just makes you so much more happy. Like the weather, like the gust of the breeze, like, it's all there. And I think that's what I'm saying, is like, people, we're moving too fast that we are forgetting to notice all the little things in life.
Yeah.
And those almost make you so much more happy. Like, if I see like a cute little cat running across the street, that makes me delighted. But when I'm moving too fast and going from store to store to stock beer, I don't fucking care. I'm looking at my phone and I'm typing in the address where I gotta be, and it's just, it's so much stimuli.
Yeah.
That you're draining yourself. You are putting yourself in a coffin, is what it feels like. Your brain is just on overdrive.
Yeah. And then, so we talked about, like, good time of day to work out.
Mm-hmm.
That's different based on every person. Do you think that there's a good time of day to meditate?
I would say, I don't know if I certainly thought that, like, it was nice to do it in the morning, because it's like the first thing I did when I woke up after I ate, that you're kind of like calming yourself for the storm. But then I also really like doing it before bed, because it put me in that calm space, and almost kind of was like I was tucking myself into bed, like putting a blanket over me. And Yeah, but it's seriously about repetition, because at some point I hit like this gear that I didn't even have to try anymore. Like I just sat down and I instantly like went into a different realm. And it's also dependent on breathing. That like if you're an anxious person, you tend to have like a shallow breath and you're not getting as much oxygen to your brain. But with meditation, I mean, you're opening up those airways, those pathways that like you can just finally take it all in and accept it. And it's just beautiful. I mean, I think it's a lost art, and there's not actually I think there's a pretty big movement behind it now, but yeah, everybody should try it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I want to try it. I feel like I kind of do it already, but like not, it's not structured meditation. It's literally just like I have my chill time.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I found that like Co has a sauna, and I love like going and sitting in that after my workout and literally just listening to music and just kind of like, it's kind of like decompressing, because after my workout I'm a little bit fatigued. I'm just kind of like, ugh. And then it's sort of like, not a food coma, but similar like feeling, like you're just kind of like, I'm done. And then I just sit there and I'm like sweating it all out, and I'm jamming out to music, and I'm just like in the zone. And I feel like while it's not maybe technically meditation, I feel like that sort of recharges me a little bit, but I don't know if I could always, because I don't always have access to that song.
I would disagree. I would say it is a form of meditation, because I did the same thing after my workouts up at Ames, and they had a steam room, and I would get in that thing for 15. I got so good that it was like 15 to 20 minutes after my workout, and it cleared me. Like not only physically, because I was able to relax. Like again, with an anxious mind, it's like you're sort of tense all the time. So for me to actually like sit and like think and like calm down, it was amazing for me. But it was like a meditative experience. And I think the heat shock proteins, it's like you just kick in a gear, and it's the same thing with yoga or meditation. You feel those thoughts coming, but the longer you stay there, it's like you hit another click, like another gear goes, and you cinch tighter into the meditation. And so the steam room, on top of when I was meditating, it's like I got different times of the day and then different exposures with the heat, that it was another form of meditation. And I would walk out of that thing just, I could breathe again. I would come outside and I could smell everything. I remember like walking up to my apartment and I smelled dog shit, and I was like, I was so happy to smell dog shit. I was like, dude, that's awesome. I can smell that.
Oh my God.
But yeah, it's the Y needs one.
I know.
We need one, because that's now my main gym again.
They have one at Walmart, but
too far.
Yeah, I mean, I go up there sometimes, but yeah, I mean, saunas are good. I also feel like, I don't know if this is the same for you, but like driving, like, okay, I have this love-hate relationship with both at school and here, is that my primary, or like one of the gyms, one of the many gyms I attend, is further away. And so like when I'm here, it's Power Life Yoga for me. So Power Life Yoga is like 30-minute drive. But I love the 30-minute drive. Mm-hmm. Like I love and hate it.
Yeah.
I love it because it's like, I just kind of like think about my life, mm-hmm. and like I literally will like work through problems in my head. Like just like work through all of my life in my drive up there. And like when I'm at school, I go to Title Boxing Club in Coralville. And that's again a 30-minute drive. So like while I can't get there as often, and it's more gas money, and you know, I don't love those aspects of it, when I get there, I just feel like, oh, I figured it out. And like when I drive back to school, I like seriously, if I do it all the time, I don't love it. But if I'm so excited to drive back tomorrow, because it's a 2-hour drive where I can literally think about my life.
Yeah. I do that too, and like if it's like even a 30-minute drive, sometimes I won't even put any music on. Like I'll just sit in silence and think, which people think, you know, maybe that's kind of weird, but again, it's like it's these lost foreign arts that we don't take the time to just sit and think, you know. And mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of power and novelty in thinking, and it's just like the more that you practice it, it's just like meditation. It's like the more time you give yourself to slow down and reflect, you would find that you will probably solve a lot of your problems.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because when I'm going too fast, it's like I don't have the time to think about that stuff. I'm just focused on getting these things done. Mm-hmm. Like especially with work, it's like, you know, be there for 9.5 hours. That I feel like a dead person walking at that point. I'm like, I'm fried. Like, I'm fried. I cannot think at all when I get home. And then I have the intentions of doing something that I enjoy, but I'm like, no. And I just end up sitting there on my phone a lot of times. I'm like, I can't even move because I've just gone all day moving.
That's how I feel at school.
Yeah.
Like, I'll do, especially like, I hate putting my coaching days on my super busy like class days, but I had to this last semester because I had a mandatory meeting every other Wednesday. And so I couldn't do it on Wednesday nights. And I was like, okay, so Monday, Thursday, and Tuesdays and Thursdays were my busy days. Like, I was in class from 9:30 to 12:20, and then I would have a lunch break, and then I'd go to class 2 to 3:20, and then I would have another break, but those breaks were homework breaks. And then Thursday night, I would coach, and I'd have to be on pool deck by 6. And I'd have to eat dinner beforehand, and like I would have gotten up at 6 that morning to work out because that was the only time that I really had to work out. And by the time I get done on Thursdays, I'm just like, I've done homework on all of my breaks. I have not stopped all day, and I'm just like, this is ridiculous. Like, yeah, like we need to slow down.
We need to slow down, and I think that's a great point to end it because I feel like this conversation has gone on long enough that I'm like, all right, I need to slow down.
I know. Well,
but
I could talk forever, as you know.
I was just thinking that, like, Natalie, you and I would have so many things to talk about, but this podcast would never end.
Oh no, we could go for days. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. Guys, check her out. You got your social media handles?
My Instagram is Wilkinson1, but I don't have like any fitness stuff because
Not yet.
I thought about doing a fitness Instagram, but I was like, I don't know.
Just try it.
I don't know if I don't know if I'm really into it though. Like, I'm kind of like, I just like doing my own thing, and like, if people want to ask me about stuff, I'll do it. But like, I don't.
Yeah.
It's just my life.
Yeah. Well, hey, give it a shot though. Like,
yeah,
maybe it could be something.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see.
All right. Well, if she creates one, we'll put it in the description below.
Yes.
All right.